In today's segment, I want to talk to you about the story and flesh it out a little bit that I told you about in segment 6 about the football player who was paralyzed. And it's a story that you need to get really clear on as we talk about identifying your core desires. And sometimes when you drill down to the truth, it surprises you, just like it did this guy. And that's why his story is so important, so that you can understand when you get down there and you're starting to ask the drill question. When you get to the core, you'll know. So here's it is. I asked him why he liked football so much. Remember, he loved football. He's breaking all kinds of records, written up in the papers, 4 scholarships. The pros were looking at him. He was being scouted out for pro ball. I asked him why he liked football, because you know there's no way he's ever going to play ball again. And he's like 23 years old. And a car accident destroyed that career path, and he now lived football vicariously. So I asked him why he liked football so much, and he said, well, in high school I was this and that, and he told me all about the things he loved about it, and he said it was so wonderful, and he said, and I was quite popular. All the girls loved me. I could have any girlfriend I wanted. I mean, he just was on and on. And as he's describing how much he loved the sport and the attention that he got, and it filled his heart and his ego, his head probably got kind of big, all of that was what he was talking about, because he said it with great emotion. And then, of course, tragedy struck when he got to a car accident, and he broke his back, and that was the end of his football career. And so he lived football for the rest of his next 2 years. He lived it vicariously. He went to every game he could get to. He watched all the games on TV. He knew the names and stats of all the major players, and he was telling us about this football experience. As I heard him and listened to him clearly, I paid close attention. This is what I want you to do. I paid close attention to his emotions when he was talking and what he was talking about when those emotions were way up here, when they were core desires, very clear. Then I asked him a simple question. You do know you're never going to play football again, don't you? And he said, yes, of course. I said, what if I could help you find a way to feel all those feelings you felt when you were playing pro ball or ball and on your way to pros, where you felt important and you felt valuable and women were just hanging all over you and you're written up in the papers and all that made you feel. What if I could show you how to have those feelings again? Only this time without a football. What he did surprised us. It surprised the whole audience and me. There was like 500 people in the audience. He was on stage with me. What he did was he dropped his head to his chest like this. His head cleared down, and he started to cry. Sobbing, like hard. He couldn't even breathe. You've seen people cry like that? It was so sad. And he cried for like 2 minutes, which was a huge amount of anguish just pouring out of him. And finally he looked up and he's wiping away the tears and he said, if you could do that for me, I would be eternally grateful. His deep, heart-wrenching sobs finally stopped and he was able to speak, and he said, I would give anything if I could feel those feelings again. That was a core desire. Well, I know how to have popularity. I know how to have my name in the papers. I know I didn't have girls hanging all over my arm. I found one that wanted to do that, so I married her, so I didn't know how to talk about that. And I never had the pro ball players looking at me, but I've had all those other kind of things going for me. And so I knew you could have all those without a football. So I began to show him how I did it and how he could do it. I spent another 2-3 minutes with him on stage, teaching him here how to get his heart, what he wanted, all those feelings he had. And he completely changed. Now, jump ahead 6 months. He was on the front cover of Parade magazine, which is in all the newspapers every Sunday in the United States, and he was rappelling down a cliff in his wheelchair. There were like 4 or 5 people rappelling down this cliff, and one of them had a wheelchair strapped to him. It was him. And he went on to be an incredibly good speaker and trainer and teacher of people, talking about how life does not have to keep you down no matter what happens to you. And there's so many people that have difficult times, and he's an inspiration to them. And he's got a broken back, and he's popular. He's been written up in the papers. He found a wife that loved him, and they were able to create a family. I don't know how that happens when you're paralyzed from the waist down, but they did that. See, core desires can make magic happen, almost. You feel like you have, or you act like you have, almost superhuman powers. in order for you to get good at paying attention to your heart, there's something you can do. And after you listen to this segment, you got to do it. Get a piece of paper and pencil out, and I want you to do two things. I want you to write about an extracurricular activity that you wanted to excel in school at any age. I don't care if it's junior high or high school or college. Did you want to play an instrument, be on stage as an actress, sing? What did you want? Be somebody important, be in a band, have a black belt in karate like I did, or be an accomplished athlete? I don't care. Write about it. And pay attention to the feelings you're having about that when you're writing. The second thing I want you to write about is a feeling that you long for right now. I don't care what it is. And I want you to be totally honest with yourself. It could be that I just want my wife to love me and respect me. I want my mom or my dad back because they've passed away. Whatever it is, you want peace, you want to feel love, friendship, fun, safety, no stress, be popular, acceptance. What do you want? I want you to write that down and pay attention. The reason I'm having you write it down, it's not a goal. I'm having you pay attention to what you're feeling. Focus on that emotion about that subject. And once you've done this exercise, you should have a pretty good idea of what it feels like to want something. And you use that as a guide or a template to help you recognize when you do ask the core desire drill question. After every question you say, I want this. What's the drill question? Drill, 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 drill down until you hit feelings like that. And by the way, you'll also know what you don't feel passionate about. Hey, you want to herd sheep? You want to drive taxi cab? No, no, no. Easy to get those no answers. Harder to get the yes answers. The next segment, I'm going to go into several examples to help you see how this works. More reality check. See you in the next segment.